your face.
Listen, we are getting better, and the camera's clearer.
Super clear.
We're-
You put up there.
Yeah, we're closer to the time than ever before.
I should take you 2 seconds. One, two, three, four.
Well, hello.
And welcome to
The Black Multiverse Theory
Morning Show podcast.
It took us so long to get
Afternoon
that
show,
morning
evening
show.
show.
It took us a long time to even get that. Well, we were saying a podcast for a long time.
We were saying podcast for a while, and very funny. We were doing podcasts for 2 years, and then we've done radio for 2 years.
Now we're back to podcasts.
We're back to podcasts, and it is not bad. I like this right here.
You're back.
This is great. We are back.
Yeah.
With the greatness. Want to say hi to the people
Yes.
who will be coming on. There's quite a few people that I'd like to send shout outs to.
I have to do the read. You don't want me to do it anymore?
Do it.
The Black Multiverse podcast. Welcome to the Black Multiverse podcast, where hosts Nigel and Nilo explore current events through an Afro-Canadian lens. In shout-outs, we catch up with the community and create space for connection. In the scroll, we dive into social media and current events, celebrity news, always actual, not always factual. We also have on the screen where we share our latest watch list, and in our ears explores the sounds shaping our worlds. The podcast culminates with an uplifting message, leaving listeners empowered. Tune in. Thank you for tuning in for insightful analysis and vibrant perspective on the Black community's experience in today's world. Welcome. Okay, we're back. We got like multiple people on today. I'm very excited.
It is good because
we're growing.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that we are also on multiple platforms right now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, we are going live on multiple pages at the same time at the same moment.
At the same moment,
which is pretty cool. So as you were saying, let me let you pick up. You have a lot of shout outs this week.
Yeah, a lot of shout outs. Shout outs to my mom, Mama Zita, who is normally on by this time. She'll be coming on very shortly if she's not on right away here. Shout out to my auntie, who is also supposed to be visiting us from the wonderful island of Trinidad.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Shout out to my other aunties that are in England as well, and my uncles that are in Trinidad as well. So shout out to everyone, all my family. Shout out to my children. That is my 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. Love them to death. And shout out to Nana, who just dropped her phone the other day. Not actually dropped her phone, but got a new phone and gave me the phone number and dropped me the number. Dropped the number to me.
Ask her. She'll be like that.
No. She's like, I don't like that one. Also, shout out to the Steel Heights Tigers, who tied their game the U17, U15 tied their game last week, and the U13 won their game 2-0. Good job, people. I appreciate you coming out for practices. There's practice tomorrow and games again Friday and Saturday, and practice again on Sunday. So let's get it.
I always like to say that they are my favorites. They're my favorite league.
Oh, yeah. They're
The Steel Heights Tigers, my favorite league.
each time I get a team, I get some of the veterans, some of those people, they're excited to see me. And then I got the new people that are on. The new people that are on are actually quite a bit amazing right now. And it's exciting to face off with different people and different characters. You get different personalities. There we go. And as we get the different personalities that come in, it is actually very interesting to coach them. You got to figure out new ways to make them effective and to make them understand that it's all fun. It's all going to be fun. They're going to have a great time. My mom is on now, and so is Darren Hall. So shout out to them as well.
Shout out to them both.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give, I don't know if we talked about it last week. Big shout out to B-Boye. Did I talk about it last week?
B-Boye. I don't think so. Talk about it again if you have.
So I started drumming lessons with Mr. B-Boye. A lot of the drummers in the city will know that I have come to them like, please teach me. And for whatever reason, it has not materialized into actual lessons.
Right.
But I started last week. And so my next lesson is Monday coming. So I'm pretty excited about it. I have been practicing almost every day. I did not practice today, but I have practiced every day since.
Okay.
Building my little drummer muscles. So it's been awesome. If you're out there, I don't know if he has any spaces left, to be honest with you. And he is a trained drummer. So I think per one of my other favorite drummers in the city, Steven Atkins out there. Shout out to him.
Shout out.
I think B-Boye actually went to college for drumming. So
Steven. And B-Boy. B-Boy, I saw him this weekend, so that was really nice.
Yeah, and Steven. And then that's another big shout out. Can we shout that out and then roll that into the scroll?
Sure, man.
Yeah, so big shout out to Sika, Jessica. Last week we forgot to announce it on the show, but I feel like I did a good job on blasting it all over my socials. There was a kids event activity at Jana hosted by
me,
this guy right here.
Yeah.
When you say, I was about to be like hosted by yours truly, but that would have meant that I hosted it, which I did not. So hosted by this guy right here. And it was a great fun time. There was a 2-part mixer. There was an evening where everybody, there was a panel and just talking about just getting behind education and how we can engage with the schools and with our kids in the schools as creatives out here in the community. And then we had a super awesome festival the day after.
Yes, I was very... And this part of the show is called The Scroll. The Scroll is where we talk about social events and things that happen around our city. Things that happen that are popping and that you should have been at and that we're going to go to. So we talk about those things. We also talk about things that are in the news as well. These things are actual and not necessarily factual, which we discussed in our opener.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. So Sika has this Roots and Rhythm Festival for children.
Yes.
And fantastic, well attended the night before.
Yeah.
They kind of were like, oh, we're kind of expecting like 20 people or whatever, right? And ended up with like 60 to 70 people the first night.
Okay.
Which was really,
wow, I missed the bulk of everything.
Which was really cool. The second night, or the second day, I did all night. I did a bunch of stuff, cracked a bunch of jokes, made fun of a bunch of people, like
our
usual people. And then I went the next day and hosted the Children's Festival, which we had lots of children doing lots of different things. And I had one small boy. He probably was about 2 or 3. He looked at me and he said, "We have the same pants." And I said, "Actually, we do have the same pants." And from that moment, he was my best friend.
It's like your co-side.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going places.
You have the same pants as me. And I was like, we both have black shoes with white bottoms. And he was like, what? He realized that was also something we had in common.
This guy's going to grow up into being the hoster with the moster.
He literally sang karaoke. Like 2, 3. He went in there, did Baby Shark twice.
Many Baby Shark renditions.
Many Baby Shark.
One child who got up there and was like, I'm going to sing, was it Twinkle Twinkle or Row Row? No, Wheels on the Bus. I'm going to sing Wheels on the Bus. He gets up there, he turns to the band and he's like, Baby Shark.
It's a Baby Shark crowd. Cut it out.
They're going to turn on us.
They're going to turn on us.
Anyway,
we need to
I go Wheels on the Bus. It's over for us.
In fact, I don't remember a single child singing Wheels on the Bus. That's the funniest part.
They're not about it. They were not about it.
Mm-mm.
So now we know that it does not fly with the people these days.
Yo,
this particular crowd just was a Baby Shark crowd. But it was a really great time. It was definitely a super awesome event. Check out the album, Sika Sings.
Sika Sings.
And congratulations to everybody who made the album. Congratulations to Enoch who produced the album. Baby Richards, the eldest girl there, Aisha. She's rapping on the album.
Oh, wait.
Mm-hmm. Arlo's up on the album.
She's a new rapper. She's a new rapper now.
She's coming for you. Well, I shouldn't say T Fanny, but period. All y'all. She's coming for you.
She's coming for her dad. What are you talking about?
Her dad.
Gritty.
Yep.
Wow.
So she's on there as well. And yeah, cool stuff. Very adorable.
Very
Congratulations to Mama C as well, who, as we were leaving, the thing was done for like an hour and she was still like
doing the stuff,
doing crafting and stuff. So it's really great to be involved in a community who like just loves kids and loves education. So congratulations to all of them for a successful event.
It was really good. It was a really good event.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the scroll, we had, unfortunately, the passing of quite a few people. And one of those people was a staple in the city, and that was James Jarvis, who worked for CKUA. Mm-hmm. And also attended so many festivals and so many music festivals in the city, including Cara West and Taste of Edmonton. And he had MLA's phone numbers. He was just extroverted. He stood 6'4". Oh,
wow.
And he literally had left behind 3 boys and died suddenly. Nobody was expecting it. He seemed healthy, and he just passed. And they asked me to officiate the funeral as the MC, and I enjoyed doing it. But a lot of people were like, "Yo, a funeral, bro? You enjoyed it?" I said, "Yeah," because I literally took those spots where people were sad and they were crying, and let them have a time for that, but then started cracking jokes and bringing us back to the real reason why we're celebrating. We're celebrating the life of James. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're going to miss him. So we also understand the death of James is sad and that we'll never see him. But the life that he lived was amazing. A lot of people said that he was a long talker and that he did a lot of things. But James was amazing throughout the city. And a lot of people sent shout outs to him. So that was such a great thing. It was at CKUA, all the CKUA family over there. You know, great job out there. Great job.
Yeah. That's very sad, and I'm sure his kids are devastated.
Yeah, they were there. He has 3 boys. Mm-hmm. Grayson, Nigel.
Oh.
And his last son, which is... Oh, I forgot his name. Sorry, I think it's Kyle. But
I hope it's Kyle.
I hope it's Kyle. So
I'm like, when you started naming names, I said, "Oh my God, what did he get himself into?"
I got it to the wrong spot. But he was quiet. The youngest one was very quiet, and I'll remember it in a minute. if it's not Kyle. But I'll remember it in a minute. And the greatest part was Nigel. Nigel, his name is Nigel William Jarvis.
Oh, wow.
Which we literally laughed about
Like
because
practically the same name.
yeah, when he saw the program and saw Nigel Williams, he went back to his auntie and was like, "Yo, I didn't say that I was going to be the MC." She goes, "You're not the MC. Nigel Williams is the MC. You're Nigel William Jarvis."
Wow.
So we met each other, we hit it off, and had a great time. There was quite a few people who had too much to drink.
It happens.
And I just want to be out there and forefront. Now, first of all, if there's a person who cannot handle their liquor, please be the diligent one and allow them to get cut off. Understand it's a safety issue.
I find that, yes, that is a thing. Because just the other day we were at an event and this guy was like falling all over me drunk. Yeah. And I'm like, why are they still giving him alcohol? He can barely walk. Yeah.
And this was the same thing. The dude kept getting up in the middle of the thing and stuff like that. And we understood that he might have been on the spectrum and stuff like that. But at the same time, cut when you see it being excessive, cut it off. So Nigel and I had to cut the guy off from his liquor, and I think he just had 2 beer, but people process things
differently, yeah.
And then the next thing is, if you are taking pictures at a funeral or a wedding, just a little tip for everybody out there: do not post the pictures on Facebook without the family's consent. Yeah. Especially if you're taking a picture at the casket with the body,
which I've seen.
Do not put that on Facebook without the family's consent.
Yeah, and even still, sometimes
it's a little much.
I do have some photos in my camera that I could never post,
and I get it.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just like that.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, celebrities. We're gonna keep with that same. James Jarvis is a celebrity. It certainly was a local celebrity.
Celebrity, yep.
Heard so many great and amazing things about him actually in this time. So, also Matthew Perry has passed away.
Matthew the Perry.
Drowned in his hot tub.
Apparently, he had a heart attack in there.
Oh wow. Let me tell you something that is really strange. So I was on the Ticker Talkers, and somebody's live is like live outside Matthew Perry's house, R.I.P. Matthew Perry. It was so interesting where we've gone to as a society in terms of the ability for a regular person with a cell phone to find themselves outside somebody's home just because they happen to live in L.A.,
Yeah.
So this person could have been driving by. Who knows? They could have a police scanner. Like who knows? But they're just there live on TikTok, which is actually it was a little bit mind blowing for me. Also, Richard Rountree, who we know as
Shaft. So that was our Shaft, by the way, if you were trying to figure out what that was.
Correct.
So Shaft has passed away, and I'm kind of happy to see the filmography that he stood by, and the fact that they brought Shaft back. He's done a plethora of movies and film and TV, and he's been a staple in the Black community as an entertainer. Shaft was one of his major roles, which he passed the mantle on to Samuel L. Jackson, who also passed the mantle on to a guy who I do not know his name because he's just not as famous as these two individuals.
Honestly, my phone's dead. If my phone was not dead, I would Google most current Shaft. But
there's two.
If you're out there, you can absolutely pop it in the comments.
I know Darren.
Dan's
Hall.
coming with it.
Yeah, he's probably got it for us. So yeah, Shaft, Richard Rountree. R.I.P., bro.
Yeah.
And condolences to your family in this time.
And we also, I think that's it that we have this week for folks. No, we don't.
Wasn't there one more person who
Somebody I guess it was a little while ago, but I don't know if you said anything.
What's that?
Your person in your life.
Oh, Luke Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Luke Hamilton has passed away. He's a celebrity to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to hang out quite a bit, and we had the greatest time in my 20s, my early 20s and late teens, as I got off a plane from Canada in the middle of December and got off the plane. I left December 31st and got off the plane January 1st in Florida, and was not ready. And it was so hot and humid that I could barely breathe. And I was trying to turn that off earlier. Anyways, I don't know why I was unsuccessful.
That happened.
Anyways, so yeah, and I got there, went to church, and met Luke Hamilton. Luke literally and I became best buds, and he reminded me of home and the people that I met at home, and it was great to be around him. So I literally had a wonderful time spending each day with him, cracking jokes. We have a lot of church jokes. We have a lot of jokes. He invited me to a wedding once that I was not personally invited to, and ended up crashing the party. And then the bride was like, "Who are you?" And I was embarrassed because I was like, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to go.
I'm with him.
Yeah, I'm with dude. And dude's like, "You're stupid. You should have invited him. You know him too." And tried to make her feel bad for not inviting me to her wedding.
It's like, my God.
I was like, why did you do this? He ended up marrying a wonderful lady named Juanita, and they had a great time and a great marriage together until he suddenly got sick in Jamaica, and his body could not fight off the sickness. That they were trying their best, and he tried his best to fight it off, and his blood pressure just went a little too low, and he passed. And his funeral is coming up in November, and I just want to say shout out to the family, shout out to Juanita, shout out to Preston, shout out to Paul, shout out to Anthony, and all the family members that we'll miss, and friends. We'll all miss Luke very, very much, especially me. In the latter end, when my dad got sick, and my dad and my parents and I moved back to Canada, he literally came and took care of my parents and did a bunch of things, like taking them to the doctor and hanging out with them and just coming over to the house and hanging with my parents after I was back in Florida doing my thing. So back in Edmonton doing my thing. So shout out to him. He has a special place in my heart, and I'm going to miss him. So that's it.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
All right. I think my phone has died. We celebrated Halloween. Did you see, have you seen any, what were your favorites?
Costumes,
yeah.
I haven't seen very many, but one of my favorite celebrities that wore costume was Chloe Bailey, was Mrs. Incredible from The Incredibles. And she looked exactly like I was like, whoa.
Janelle Monáe was like a
Elastigirl. Sorry, go ahead.
Elastigirl. Janelle Monáe was a chameleon. Like, you know, she always goes way over the top.
No, I don't.
With you. You don't know this?
I didn't know she goes over the top.
Oh, Janelle Monáe. She usually does 2 or 3, how do you say? She does photo shoots with 2 or 3 outfits. How do you call it? Costumes?
Costume.
That's
change.
what I'm trying to say. Costumes. Yeah. So she's there as like a full chameleon, and even her hat, like just head to toe, it is absolutely the most disconcerting thing that I have ever seen, to be honest. Yeah, she always goes. She was the Mad Hatter a couple of years ago.
I think I saw the Mad Hatter.
She was the rabbit too.
Oh, and she was the rabbit?
Yeah, she did her whole face.
So what was she this year?
A chameleon.
So was she like against the wall?
No, she was a literal chameleon.
Okay. So she
Let me see if I can bring it up for you guys.
She literally became a chameleon.
Yes, in the most disconcerting way possible. I learned a new word, actually. They said it's called cursed imagery.
Is that her? Oh, that's wild.
So if you have a chance, check out Janelle Monáe's I can't figure out how to download it, but you know what? In the future, I'll have it ready. Those are the ways in which we will get better.
That is that is
if you have
creepy.
a chance to look it up, yeah. It's absolutely the most creepy things ever.
And she's like hiding in the
bushes. Like,
and using
somebody's
the
apartment complex.
and using the green screen to chameleon herself. That is wild. Okay. All right.
It's worse than the guy who turned himself into a dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's worse than that. Okay.
Well, yes, for me. I was like,
they're
ooh, that's troubling.
I think they're on par.
I took my dog out last night, forgetting it was Halloween, and took her for a walk. Her name is Sunset. Hey, Sunset.
Sunbutt.
So I took her out, and there were all these dogs out because, the millennials, this is what we do now. There's all these dogs out, and they all had costumes on. And I swear to you, Sunset looked at these dogs like, why are you wearing a bee costume? Like, I don't know if she understood what was going on, but there was like a little Chucky doll, and she was just very confused by what was going on. But also, I felt like next year I will definitely dress her up. I feel like it was a missed opportunity. A little bit of her heart was like, why don't I have a costume?
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No. I don't.
It's the way she was looking at these dogs. I cannot explain it, but if anybody knows my dogs, you would know that she has bear personality.
She does. I feel that she's the type of dog that probably would have been looking at the dogs like, wow, that's weird. Like, why do you have that on your face?
You have that on?
Why do you have that on? That's weird.
And I guess the last bit of our scroll that I want to talk about is the first all-black team of climbers successfully reached the top of Mount Everest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's 7 of them
Nobody
out of the
died?
group. No.
That's fantastic.
Have we spoken about this about Mount Everest, that people die on the way up and they don't bring the bodies down?
And they don't bring the bodies down.
Yeah,
so there's a bunch of bodies.
You're just passing dead bodies.
Just
and
frozen
stuff.
bodies.
And also that the litter and the garbage, the length of Mount Everest is like a real problem.
Is a huge problem.
Yeah. So do you have anything else for the scroll? Or is that it for you?
The only thing that I have for the scroll was there was somebody in Edmonton. There was a Edmonton
security guard.
Remand security guard.
Right.
For the Remand, that they have a badge and they usually deal with the prisoners at the Remand Center here.
Right.
So he went out and was walking his dog with his friend, and some people on bikes rode past him and nearly hit the dogs.
Oh,
so
boy.
He exchanged words with them. They were like, yo, got off their bikes and came towards him, and he pulled out the badge and he was like, yo, I'm a off-duty RCMP. Like,
but
what you gonna do? And they beat him to a pulp with his badge.
And then the people picked him up and charged him?
And then when he called the police, the real RCMP, the real police, they came. But then he again told them he's an off-duty RCMP.
He told that to the RCMP?
The police.
Yeah.
So when they looked it up, they're like, yo, who's
no,
this
you're
dude?
not, bro. And
No,
that's
you're not.
illegal.
And that's illegal to do.
Wow.
And he just got arrested. They just picked him up. Pick him up. This is what we call, in our line of work, privilege. When you go,
He just thought they were just gonna go with it.
when you go and impersonate a police officer,
You
which
know
is illegal,
what?
I think you're gonna get away with it. You
You
told
guys,
the police.
I have a theory. Yes, he did tell the police. It is likely that this is not the first time. They've just gone with it in the past. This is probably the first time that they actually were like, wait a minute, let me look this guy up. Yeah.
That's what's wild
That's
about it.
probably what it is. Because for us, we're like, what? That's bonkers. But meanwhile, the man's like, no, he does this on a regular basis.
As soon as he got the badge, he became a RC.
Immediately.
As soon as he got
He's been off duty the whole time.
he never came back to badge.
Never.
Like, where's your badge? Is this supposed to be with your uniform? Yeah, I have it with me at all times.
Goodness gracious.
So yeah, that is it.
Well,
that is it for the scroll.
Edmonton, yes, that is it. We have a couple. I think we'll leave that where it is.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we'll
That's
leave
good.
that where it is. What do you have for in your? No, that's not what's next, right? On the screen. What are you watching?
So on the screen, I jumped into a new series. The series is called Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay, wow.
Wonderful anime. If you're into anime, I always say this if you're into anime, but by now, if I'm telling you a show is good, the show is good. Problem with this show for me is I saw too many memes and videos of clips.
And it ruined it.
And it ruined it for me because they related this one to Naruto.
Oh.
And that, because they did that, you can't help but compare the three characters to the three main characters of Naruto and their leader, which looks the same. He looks almost identical. And they do a lot of ninjutsu. It's like if you watch Bleach, then it's like a mixture of Bleach and Naruto together. And when you put the two together, it's amazing. But the actual illustration is phenomenal. Even though the storyline, I'm trying to get past the fact that I'm trying to see past Naruto on it.
Oh.
I literally cannot help but watch these fight scenes. Naruto was great because you got like fight scenes ish, and you got these fight scenes and you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. And one every 2 episodes, every 3 episodes, you get a good fight scene or so with Naruto if you're lucky. But this one, every other episode is flips and bobs and kicks and punches, and it's just a really good show if you're into that. So that one is on my list. What about yourself?
I have been watching. Mine is the internet. Actually, I've been watching the Drumeo YouTube. If you haven't got a chance yet, or if you like drumming, check out Drumeo. They are on YouTube. They actually technically they do drumming lessons. But they have this series where they have, I guess, drummers that are major drummers. Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers. There was one of the Megadeth drummer who does like a double kick drum situation.
Jürgen von Jürgen.
Was that his name for real?
His name was,
are we going to get angry emails?
His name was Jürgen von Jürgen.
Okay.
He actually said it. I might not be saying it right, but it's literally Jürgen
All the
von
Megadeth
Jürgen.
fans are coming for us.
You can come for me, but just come with the correct information. It's actual, but not necessarily factual sometimes.
True. There it is. Michael Jackson's drummer who drummed on Beat It.
Boom.
He's on there too. So what they have them do is listen to a drumless track. And they usually do what they call active listening. So they listen to the track. Not everybody gets through the track. They listen to the track. They notate the track. And then they play the drums. However, and who else was there? Peter was it Phil Collins? Phil Collins' son. I think his name is Justin Collins or something like that. Phil Collins' son was on there too. So it has been really cool watching that.
Ray Bellucci was on there.
Ray Bellucci, yeah.
Was on there.
Yeah.
He looked like he
like he plays Italian restaurants in Astoria, Queens. I can tell.
You could tell.
I know the restaurant that he probably plays at regularly. Yeah,
He's
just
like,
seeing
yeah.
him like, actually, I know exactly the neighborhood you're from.
What I loved is he literally played outside of his scope.
He really did play outside of his scope. I like what they do when they play it. I like that sometimes they bring their own style in. Sometimes they match the style completely perfectly. It's very, very cool. So check out Drumeo. They are the ones who have that thing. What are you listening to?
I jumped into the Victoria Monet wormhole and jumped into that.
It's so good.
It's a really good album, and me working on my own album, I'm taking all these different artists and the influences that they have, and I'm like, okay, I like this, I like this, I like this, and when I like them, I try to see if it matches me as a person,
right,
and see what I can do with some of the stuff that's there. So it was great to do that. And there's a couple of gospel albums that are on my list as well. So I'm into the gospel albums as new people are dropping new things. So it's great.
Okay.
What about yourself?
I've been listening to Ice Spice. Brittany was like, Auntie, you're really leading into your auntie-ness. I said, I'm going to turn on some, what's that girl's name? Spice? She goes, Auntie, Ice Spice? I said, yes, I'm going to put on some Ice Spice and I'm going to clean today. And she's like, Auntie, you're really leading into this auntie-ness. So shout out to Brittany Backus. Yeah, I've been listening to all the girl raps. It was Victoria Monet, and then I kept going. I'm like, what's Ice Spice talking about? What's all these other girls? Coyle Ray, what are these girls talking about? So I've been listening to, I'm not even kidding when I'm talking about Ice Spice, but Ice Spice Radio, Megan, her. Yeah.
Ice Spice actually for Halloween dressed up as Betty Boop.
I saw that, and she had her clappers out on the stage.
Oh, the clappers were there.
The clappers was out ads when at the end she's meeting fans, and someone gave her a KJV version of the Bible.
You know what? That's what she needed.
She said,
I'm
dead. Why did this person have
that's what she needed in her life.
Bro, if that's what you needed to do to go to that show, that's fine.
I mean,
the person was there to save Ice Spice.
The King James version, he can't.
Don't save her.
She
don't wanna be saved.
That's the funny thing about it, is that person probably was like, the Lord told me that you're my wife, and get it in the Bible. When you catch up to my level of scripture, then we will be together.
Yeah,
I've heard this line before. So
I have to say this about Ice Spice's bum being out. I wonder if they set that girl up, because I felt like it was that whoever dressed her had to have known it was too short for her to perform in. She was like a little bit leaning into it, but she was a little bit like pulling down, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it did occur to me when I saw it that somebody did that on purpose.
The thing about it is, she looked exactly like Betty Boop. Like even how the dress
short
fit
was dressed.
Yeah. So she literally looked like it, but when she did her performance, you're right. She could have probably.
They have to figure that out, because there's ways to like maybe put a garter on the legs or something like that so it doesn't ride as much. They have to figure it out. If you can make a costume that has wings and feathers and glitter, and that costume can parade around St. Vincent or parade around. Oh, that's another thing before we sign out I want to talk about. Tobago Carnival just finished.
Okay.
Parade around the island of Tobago, and not slip up. And those girls are like 80% naked already, 90% naked already. So the things can all stay where they need to, kilometer after kilometer with all of that movement. They need to get some carnival girls to make these people's to dress them for the shows.
I feel like the carnival girls get their costume and their uniform ahead of time, and then have the tips and tricks on how to keep it where it needs to be.
There are some, but the costume has to be built that way. It has to be designed that way. I've designed bad costumes before.
Fair enough.
So I know this.
Okay.
Tobago Carnival, congratulations to the island of Tobago.
Tobagoans.
And to my friend DJ Jal, who has a mix over there on Spotify. But Tobago has had its first incident-free carnival in 33 years or something like that.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so great job to them.
Okay.
That's very cool. Our carnival is supposed to be a safe place.
Yeah.
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 Supposed to be. All right.
Okay.
Time for a word.
Yeah, it is time for a word.
Holy cow, that went fast.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the time the word's done, it's about 45 minutes. Not bad.
All right. Well, let's talk about the word.
You got a word?
I got a word. This week was wild for me because this week I had a project. This project that I had depended on other people to do what they had to do. The greatest part about having a project where you depend on other people to do what they have to do, you kind of sit back and you're like, well, it's all on them. But then guess what? If they flop the show, you flop the show because you can't get what you need to be done. And communication was done right. And a lot of things were done right. But the few things that were done wrong were detrimental to the whole project. This is why I'm telling you this. There are going to be people in your life that are going to let you down. And there are going to be people in your life who you're going to depend on to complete whatever portion of your life you're at, whatever project you got going on in your life, whatever things that you have going. And people go through different things, mental states, all types of things in their life. They just go through life.
Right.
And some people handle different situations differently. And they're going to let you down. But I watched a video with Tyler Perry this week, and he said people are like branches to him. There's people who are like the leaves, and they fall quickly. They can't handle much weight. They fall when the seasons change, and they're gone. They come back into different seasons. Then you got people who are like branches that hold a little bit of weight, but when you go out too far, you go out on a limb for them, they're going to let you down as well. They'll break and let you down. And what you need in your life is those roots, which basically they are there supporting the entire tree that's there. But don't give up on the branches and the leaves. The leaves are beautiful in their season. Just remember that that's the season that they're in. They're seasonal. Mm-hmm. They'll come back and they'll go away and they'll come back again. So all the portions of the tree are very valuable.
The leaves also make food for the whole tree.
Exactly.
All right, everybody. All the parts, all the different kinds of people we have in our lives are valuable. Thank you very much, Mr. Nigel.
Yep.
That is that's it for us tonight.
That's it.
On the Black Multiverse Theory podcast.